Okay. I don't remember what we were doing. We were talking to this lady, apparently.
Now I'm upside down.
I went out, did errands, had lunch, got approached by a salesman, and you're still here. Yeah, I am, unfortunately for you. I apologize. Oh, garbage, thanks. Thanks for the shit to the face. Appreciate it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I need to find something instead. Okay, let's see. I've looked at that. Now I haven't talked to you enough, I guess. Thank you for the tea. At least I'm right side up right now. Thanks, Mima. Things are progressing. I think a fuller picture of what's happened is beginning to emerge. Ow. Don't bite at me. Hi. This case seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. Frost had no family apart from his son. And, well, the kid kind of vanished. Nobody's seen him around since around the time of the incident. Gusto's son, too. Him and his best pal from school both just up and disappeared. Oh, I don't know why I'm giving him that accent. Gusto's boy wasn't, not as far as I heard anyhow. Guess Frost Kid turned up in the end, though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, with no family around just after the incident, Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So, no need for the police to release the body, and no need for anybody to find out they didn't have it. They filled their fake autopsy report and nobody was any the wiser. Well, almost nobody. I still can't believe Mr. Von Karma would have stooped so low. Tell me about Judy. Tell me, Vander, what kind of person is Ms. Bound? I don't have a thing for anyone. As far as I know, I'm Arrow Ace. I do not. Technically part of the family. Oh yeah, she retired recently. Kiddo was mad about that. Yes, why did she retire? They basically stole it. Rude. Panda seems very sympathetic to Miss Bound's plight. From a less charitable perspective, she has, in a way, taken everything of Mr. Tangaroa's for herself. Arrow and into Ace. Oh, we know, Miles. We all know, Miles. At least demi-romantic, right? This man does not think about sex or romance at all. Just thinks about puzzles and chess. The Ultimate Cookbook contained instructions on how to create the poison gas. And the current owner of that book is none other than Ms. Judy Bound. I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally, we can prove that she's been lying to us. Okay. So now I can talk to you? That's done. Wait. Why are you done? I should be able to talk to you. Back? Okay, back I guess. Isn't. Miles watches American Psycho inspirationally. You're taller than Miles? I'm not. There'll be no need for that. Thank you, Miss Scone. Everybody in Ace Attorney is much shorter than you would think they are. Miles looks like he should be tall, but he is not. Oh, we've already done this. Godot taller than you? Somebody's a bastard. I mean, you are so annoying. Did I present this? Someone knows how to- yeah, okay, we read this. I think Larry might have something to say if you do that. Present this? Woman. Nope, she does not give a fuck. I hate it when I'm stuck. Did I miss anything? Do I have to brain harder? No, I'm out of those. It says she's the only one I haven't fucked. The other child's done. Fountain's done. How about you, buddy? Yeah, you're done. You're done. Done. Oh, I have a deduce button. We did get like a deep hint that the colors were colored. There was a color difference. And there is. I remember doing this. Larry, could I ask you something about your sketches? Not exactly. This light blue tablecloth, you painted that exactly as you saw it, correct? But the tablecloth on the cot here in this room is white. What's that look for? That's nothing to boast about. On your knees, you whiny bitch. Alright. That's definitely blue. Wait, Miss Bound came out of the winter wing. Just pushing a cart, a different one. That's the one with the light blue tablecloth. Okay. So there's two carts. And what did she do with this second serving cart? I don't know what happened to it after that. The kind you lift stuff with. A lift cart. Another serving cart and a lift cart. We'd better check with Miss Bound. Alright, now we have something to talk to her about. I don't know why we still have stuff to talk to Delicia about, but I guess we'll figure that out later. I've run out of stuff to shove in her face. Are there 2 serving carts here at the gallery, Miss Bound? That was quite a little flicker. A certain so-called artist showed us this sketch. And I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue. Could the color of the tablecloth in this sketch simply be a mistake on Larry's part? Do you have any idea what you might have been doing when this sketch was drawn? I'd like to ask you a little more about these duties, if I may. Your work, my dear? What exactly were you doing when this sketch was drawn? Because from what I can see, your cart doesn't have a tea set on it. Chocolate. Want chocolate? Same. Oh, thank you. You've been doing this for, like, most of your life. How old are you? She was, like, a teenager. She's 34. And it's been 18 years, so yeah, she's been doing this more than half of her life. Well, why not? They're a little melted, but I suppose that's because they've been sitting around in her pocket. Do. Chocolate data jotted down in my organizer. They may not be the prettiest, but I'm grateful for the energy boost nonetheless. Oh man, he just sounds just like his dad. Though perhaps they could do with a little less sugar. Investigation complete. I guess we didn't have to talk to Delicia still. And that's that. All that's left now is to await the results of the test on the teapot. I guess it was just a glitch that it told me that we weren't done with Delicia. How many times are we gonna be stuck in this room? The test results have just come in, sir. Traces of ubiquium were found in the teapot. I don't care who beats who, I just want to find the truth, you weird child. You really need to drop this obsession with coming in first, Mr. Winner. We're all on the same side here, remember? We're trying to get to the truth. That's really no way for a prosecutor to think. Not a successful one, anyway. You're going to end up like Winston Payne. Enough. Mr. Edgeworth, please refrain from taunting the boy. Ignore him, Eustace. He isn't worthy of your attention. He's so sad. He's so confused. Why don't I take things from here now? In the meantime, you can perform the far more important task of going and checking on the victim. Run along now, kiddo. Excellent. We shall see you shortly, then. Mr. Winner's annoying, but totally harmless. Judge Gabrielle, on the other hand. Now. Please don't hit me. Miss Bound, perhaps you could explain why traces of ubiquium were found in your teapot. So you are telling the court that you did not intentionally put ubiquium in the teapot?
Objection!
You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bond? I'd have thought you'd be a bit more convincing liar. I mean, you're sweating and settling from foot to foot, young lady. You have access to the ultimate cookbook, correct? I call her young lady, but she's older than Miles. A book that just happens to contain instructions on how to create the poison gas used in the attack. Meaning it's perfectly possible for you to know exactly how to make it. Yes, I read things and I retained that information and I put that information to use. Not that hard. But the fact that I have seen it doesn't make me guilty. The victim used a blowtorch to heat the lid of one of the display cases, thereby melting the ubiquium. So she's not willing to admit to anything. Of course not. Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you stole it? That's true, and I don't have any hard evidence that it definitely was Miss Bound who stole it. You'd never hurt somebody for no reason. That's a good. I don't know why, but I really like this little pinky up hand pose. I just think it's cute. It's like somebody actually thought about, you know, how interesting this would look in the graphics, and her other hand doing this elegant pose. It's really like good character acting. She's determined now. She's gonna fuck you up. Wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized. I know, right? And I don't think she's joking. Oh, did he now? What technique might that be? That would seem. What different angle are you? Oh, a turnabout and thinking. So my father used this method as well. Good. I know a problematic asshole won't leave me alone about it. The old Thinkatron. According to Miss Bound, it was because of her that Mr. Frost's flavored ice sculptures melted. And yet his sculptures are here on display at this very gallery today. Is it possible that she... Thank you, Fender. I think I know what I need to ask Miss Bound now. Ms. Bound, you say that you were the one who caused Mr. Frost's creations to melt 18 years ago, correct? And yet, what you did allowed you to open this exhibit, no? Yes, what do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? If you are going to ask such questions, perhaps a formal testimony from Miss Bound might be best. Yes, perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about Zodiac Hall, and about why Miss Bound decided to dedicate this space to Mr. Frost's work. Very well. If you believe it to be relevant to the case, I will allow it. Miss Bound, would you mind? Then please, if you could give us some background on Zodiac Hall and the pieces on display here. I can talk. Super good at it. Why I talk for a living. Alright, I need a voice for Judy. She's making noises until I find a pitch. It took 18 years, but at long last I was finally able to buy Samson's home back a little while ago. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected as many Paul Aliquot pieces as I could from around the world. Because if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Not great, but you know. It's definitely a voice. It exists.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, everything seems entirely above board to me.
Judge Gabrielle, that was simply the witness's preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of that testimony cannot be evaluated without due cross-examination. Spoken like a true attorney. Very well. You may do what you must. But... Cute. 18 years. You must have gone through a lot to buy it back, Miss Bound. This home, this place, such memories abound. I couldn't stand to lose what I had found. Oh, she's supposed to be singing? I'm not singing. Especially not without the backing track. Samson, I did what I had to do to see that home was waiting here for you. I don't know. Stop doing the seal crap. If you could continue with your testimony, Ms. Bound, minus the singing, if you please. Yeah, honestly.
Hold it!
You manage the gallery by yourself, Ms. Bound? So she really got the house back for him. What more were you gonna do?
Hold it!
Paul Aliquot. That was Mr. Frost's pseudonym, correct?
Yes, he adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France.
I see. I'm curious about some of the pieces in your collection, more specifically. How you were able to acquire the Taurus and Gemini sculptures. It was my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he could complete them.
Yes, I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made.
Really? Perhaps you could go into some more detail on that.
Hold it!
Tell me more about this dream of yours, Ms. Bound.
Well, what I really wanted was to open a gallery with Samson, of course.
I feel bad giving her the bad guy bounce voice, but you know.
A gallery of dance, a gallery of song, a gallery of gaiety and candy all day long.
That was the idea, anyway. And here I thought art was to be appreciated in silence, not accompanied by musical numbers. Welcome back from adverts. We're still just pressing Judy on everything.
Alas, Mr. Tangaroa transgressed against the edicts of the goddess of justice. And as such, that part of your dream may go permanently unfulfilled.
I think I can cosplay as her. I mean, I don't think Judy's dress would be that difficult to do. You just have to get some, like, fake flowers. You could probably find a green dress with a low-cut neckline pretty easily and slap all the other shit on top of it.
No, Samson he's innocent. And that awful prosecutor refused to listen, but it's true. He never hurt anybody.
Mr. Tangaroa gave a false confession in order to protect Ms. Bound. The two of them really did what they could to protect one another, didn't they? Okay. So... this is what she added to her. And sent me a whole bunch of red, white, and blue plastic flowers as a padding on a gift around July. Oh, that's so cute. What a cute way to, like, make sure nothing gets broken. Press this and see what she says.
Hold it!
These photos you mentioned, you mean the ones you yourself took in Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago?
Yes, you certainly know a lot about what happened back then, Mr. Edgeworth.
No, the sculptures in question were definitely not replicas. Which means that Ms. Bound is lying.
I know, it's such an awful shame, and after we went through the trouble to recreate them, too.
The sculptures in the Winter Wing weren't replicas. They're the very ones from 18 years ago. I need to show her I'm aware of that, or I'll never get to the truth. Alright. So... we need to go... for the last one. We'll find something to present. We've already pressed the heck out of her. Let's see. Oh, this. Of course, because it was lost 18 years ago. This piece of evidence will... oh, I guess not. I've messed up. Wrong. Ow, my feelings. Ms. Bound, please don't cry. It makes me very upset. I can't stand a woman crying, it makes me angry. So her tears were all an act. I suppose she was an accomplished actor. Okay. Oh right, this has the salt in it, remember? So this one. Objection. I'm sorry, my dear, but it's time for you to eat crow. I'm afraid you've run out of road, Ms. Bound. You can lie all you like, but you can't deny the results of the tests conducted on the sculpture's remains. That sounds creepy. And those tests leave no room for ambiguity. What you had on display weren't replicas. They were the very statues Mr. Frost carved 18 years ago. Oh, can you? Thank you, Miss Scone. I don't recall asking for her help, but still. She's doing the wiggle. To put it simply, the statues didn't disappear back then because they'd melted. They disappeared because you spirited them away and kept them hidden all these 18 long years.
Quiet, all of you. Miss Bound, have you anything to say in your defense?
You gotta wiggle. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta wiggle. Especially if the defense attorney has cornered you.
So you've already learned that much? Should I take it to mean that you admit to having hidden the flavored ice sculptures in question?
You haven't proven I was the one who took those statues away. And you won't because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The police were already here when they disappeared. How could I have done it without them noticing? How indeed. I don't yet know the exact how you did it. I don't know exactly how you did it, but I'm far from ready to say that it was impossible for you to have stolen them away. You're a very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth? I am indeed, and I won't stop until I get to the truth.
I see.
Then I'd better tell you exactly what I did that day 18 years ago. The whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living area on standby. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridge for Samson. But before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. They slipped into not quite British. Later, around when your father arrived, I began to make the rounds and serve tea to everyone present. And that was when I saw Mr. Gusto entering Mr. Frost's room. And those were my movements on the day it all happened. I hardly see how you could take issue with any of that. That's for us to decide, Miss Bound. There sure as fuck is. It's fine, I'll do it. I'm more focused on proving the fact that she did indeed steal those statues. The question is, when would she have had the opportunity to do so? If I can pinpoint that, I might be able to prove exactly what she got up to. Okay.
Hold it!
This is the sussy bit. Just as you did today. Here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere with that little card of yours. Interesting. And did anything strike you as strange around that time? Saucer was cold. His saucer was cold. It's not. It's sort of the moment. It's the time when she was like pulling them around. Do I say yes? I think so. This was it. Ms. Bound, I believe this is when you stole the sculptures. I hate to contradict you, but the fountain room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting that I somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room right under everyone's noses? That is precisely what I'm suggesting. Gaze upon my creepy smile. Have you cornered now? Ms. Bound stole those ice sculptures, and she did it by hiding them here. Boop.
Take that!
Because why else would your tea be cold? Nobody wants cold tea. Make weird excuses all you fucking want, but you're wrong. My father and Fender had no idea that one of the sculptures was merely inches away from them. Because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around, Miss Bound, but a hidden ice sculpture in a glass case. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How would a case that size fit onto a serving cart? It would have been spotted immediately.
Objection!
Who said anything about a serving cart?
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Edgeworth.
I didn't realize he was talking for a second.
What are you suggesting she used instead?
I'm suggesting Ms. Bound used this to transport the sculpture.
Take that!
And this is?
It's that thing over there. The cart that Miss Bound used to move the flavored ice sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago. And it would appear that the very same cart is still here with us in this fountain room.
We originally bought it for use in the contest. And you're saying that Miss Bound loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto the cart and carried them off?
I am. As you can imagine, all one would need to do is lay a case on its side and add a tablecloth. And it'd look exactly like a normal serving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculptures around freely. I love the dramatic cape bullshit every time she's like, ow, my feelings!
Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the sculptures all those years ago now. And yet, I knew no matter what I said or did, I'd always be under a cloud of suspicion. So you admit it. You admit that you stole them from Frost's room.
A lot of wind in this place? Yep. Welcome, men.
Yes, I do. I took those sculptures and their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly deduced, I'd dressed up the lift cart as a serving cart in order to do it, and slipped in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around serving tea to everyone. In the end, I'd removed not only the sculptures, but the flavored ice zodiac blocks as well.
Zodiac blocks? I feel like I've seen them for myself before. You did, they're right there. There's a huge block of ice on display here. It must be incredibly heavy. Well, maybe not, what with it being hollow on the inside. If the Winter Wing really is an exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago, then even though my father never saw them because they'd already melted, the Zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back then as well. Yeah, Master Mask was there with his wife, the little actor boy was there, I forgot his name. He's around. He'll be around later. Also, I don't know what his new name is, come to think of it.
When I had finished moving the 2 ice sculptures and the 2 zodiac blocks out, I took 2 fresh empty cases to Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original 2 had been. Only the sculptures have been kept in glass cases, you see, to prevent them from being damaged. And the blocks were a little more robust, so they had been displayed as is. As stated in the contest rules, we were responsible for providing all display materials, including cases.
No, how far have you gotten in this game? Because the kid with the horns comes up later. Or in the last game. God, what is his name? Let me find out. Let me look. It's been a hot minute since I played this one. I think he comes in later in this one. Thank you for the tea time. Oh, you remembered? Okay. I will not look up his name then. I want to be surprised on stream and be like, why is this your name?
Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few other flavor ice works in progress.
Yeah, he was right there.
I figured if I melted them down somehow, the resulting puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be in the Winter Wing today.
Indeed, and I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it.
That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? Oh my. I would have thought you might have known at least this much, given we're at a crime scene. I suggest you memorize the various statutes of limitations outlined in this book.
Is Kay like Miles' own medium? She's not a medium, she's a great thief, but she does have essentially she has a big 3D projector thing, and she can project, like, the scene and the changes in it. And it's based on whatever is entered into the machine. So you can get it wrong, but like as you go through, you correct it and change it and this and that and the other thing. And that's how you solve a bunch of cases. Statutes of limitation. And simply put, Kay, prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Okay. After 7 years from the date of the crime, separate time frames apply with regards to claims for damages, etc. Murder, 15 years from the date of the crime. Statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. The statute is suspended from the time any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. Yeah, she's not really Maya. She's as upbeat as Maya, but like definitely has a different personality. She's not ditzy like Maya. I love Maya, but she's a little bit of a space cadet. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Oh, are you just gonna read out what I just read out? All right, yes, thank you. Thank you, Miles. There is a limitation for murder, depending on the state. It's usually around 25 years, but in some states there isn't. Yes, Miss Bound stole the ice sculpture 18 years ago. So it's too late to have her arrested for that crime. My problem with this is, Miles was tried for murder, and the statute was 12 years, but in this one it's 15, and I'm confused.
Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene.
12, 15, same shit.
However, as you yourself just pointed out, Miss Bound can no longer be prosecuted for her crime.
It was 15 there as well. But then it would be because this was the same day. Well, it was actually later. Because Miles... Gregory died at the end of this trial, the old trial. What is it called? The IS-7 incident. He died at the end of the trial for that one, which was like a year later. So it took a year to finish. So he died at the end of that, and Miles was tried like years ago, because I don't know how old he is now. I can sort of tell by Gumshoe. Gumshoe's 32 now. But this is like he went and he already did a fake suicide and came back and did a bunch of trials. So it's been years. Then it would be today, like. What year did Miles Edgeworth die? No. Go on trial. Oh, Dahlia Hawthorne, God, that's a bitch I don't want to deal with. DL6. Well, I guess it is 15 years ago. I don't understand the timeline then. I'm so confused. Is this before DL6? Doesn't make any sense. I'm confused. I will look it up later. Or get through this part. Rendering your revelation rather pointless, wouldn't you say, Mr. Edgeworth?
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Unless this is like more than 15 years. Oh, it's like 18 years. Alright, I figured it out. I can math. It's fine. Well, you see, the theft of the ice sculptures isn't my principal interest here. I find the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be considerably of considerably more interest. Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body? I am indeed. By hiding it in a very unusual way. Are you telling me that you know where the body has been all this time, Mr. Edgeworth? It's not such a big leap if you think about what Ms. Pound has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't just flavored ice that she moved from Mr. Frost's room back then. Very well. If you are confident in this claim, let us put it to the test. Tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly was Mr. Frost's body hidden? There's no other picture of it, right? Okay. In here.
Take that!
A photograph of Mr. Frost's works. And of the victim's body, Your Honor. You will have to forgive me, but what the actual fuck, Edgeworth? Where exactly in this photograph is Mr. Frost's body? The victim's body is hiding right here. Oh!
Take that!
The Gemini sculpture. Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance. But it is, in fact, Mr. Frost's corpse.
Yui? Surely you can't be serious. I don't see anything in this photograph to support such a wild claim.
Objection. That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight.
What piece of evidence might that be? The court demands that you present what was used to conceal the body.
Take that!
One of those cloths from the autumn wing.
Yes, when it's made to glow in just the right way, it's so visually convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone? I don't know why I yelled at her, but it's fine.
Overruled!
It's not the case that a certain special device is needed to generate these colors, though.
Objection!
Yeah, it's right fucking there. If you would care to take another look at the photograph of the Winter Wing, Your Honor. You'll notice there is a small box connected to the bottom of the Gemini display case.
That's...
One of the very light-emitting devices in question. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed its presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Yeah, that was my screw up, is I was like, I thought it was only 15 years. But it's been 18 years. I can do math when I'm awake. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case. Which means Ms. Bound had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was, in fact, a statue carved from ice. Yes, we were standing right in front of the body.
But the body and the cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were they found there if the body was supposed to be in the Winter Wing disguised as a sculpture?
Objection!
Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body had been hidden if we had found it as is. Ms. Bound needed to remove Mr. Frost from the Winter Wing in order to throw us off the scent.
Overruled!
Winter Wing is beginning to lose all meaning yet again.
Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around from behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain.
No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift cart, the same cart that had proved so useful in executing her original theft. I believe she wheeled the body onto into one of the other wings and floated it down the stream to the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way. Which is why only the cloth appeared at first, the cloth Miss Scone discovered.
And then the body followed afterwards, once it had thawed enough.
It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth, but can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusation without proof, don't you think? As a matter of fact, I do. And the contradiction in the piece of evidence I was provided will shed light on exactly how Miss Bound moved the body as well. Of course, I have a piece of very compelling proof right here. Don't hit me.
But please present it to the court. What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bound acted as you claim?
Idiot draw stuff. Not me this time. Larry.
More drawings.
Oh look, there's you.
Welcome to the party, adventurer.
Welcome in.
And is that me?
Yes, Mr. Butts drew sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart we can see here.
Miss Bound's serving cart, what about it?
You don't see it. She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. Ergo, we know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn.
What? If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everyone.
Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the color of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I'd originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he's assured me that that couldn't possibly be the case.
This tablecloth appears to be light blue.
Yes, a shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hanging just underneath.
What? What? The shape of the card is perfectly rectangular, just like one would expect. Stop
Hitting people! What are you, Franziska? Calm down!
Surely it would be immediately obvious if the tablecloth was being draped directly over the body.
Objection!
Not if the body had been placed inside one of those hollow zodiac blocks in the winter wing. Place one of those on the lift cart and easily pass muster as a regular serving cart, wouldn't you agree?
Goddess of Justice.
Ms. Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago.
I didn't expect you to deduce all of that from a single simple sketch.
But that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it? You needn't worry on that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butt's artwork.
Russ.
Once you disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart once more. Which is exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. And without a serving cart, you had to find some place to put your chocolates.
My chocolates? The ones I was handing out?
As we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. But the chocolates you gave us came directly from your pocket. Why did you suddenly feel the need to put the chocolates in your pocket, Ms. Bound? It was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on, that's why. You should have put them on the tea cart and consolidation.
One moment, please. You've explained what Miss Bound did with the chocolates in the lift cart. But what about the tablecloth? Where did it go?
Indeed, if stashing the chocolates in her pocket was the only solution she could think of. I doubt Miss Bound had the time to dispose of an entire tablecloth.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an answer for me?
Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us.
Perhaps you would care to enlighten us?
Everyone's so violent in these games. He's wearing it. I didn't point it out earlier, but it's in the picture that he drew. Ms. Bound has the tablecloth on her person, and in plain view, in fact.
In plain view?
Look at her stressed. Do a little dance.
No, surely you don't mean...
Ms. Bound. It's a cloth around your waist, isn't it? And given that the Zodiac blocks weren't kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. Keep a wiggling. Yeah, you look at this picture, she's not wearing the apron. I forgot to point it out. Well, I didn't point it out because I thought I would have a chance to point it out later. And then I missed my chance. All we would need to do to confirm my theory is test the cloth for traces of sugar used in Mr. Frost's work. The game is up, Ms. Bound. It's time to come clean.
Well, shit. You won't need to test the tablecloth? Everything you said is true. I stole Delicia's Infesticide Ultra, and I moved Mr. Frost's body. It was me. It was all me. Delicia, I'm so sorry. Last week I went into your bag and I took it. And then I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he had tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play. Yeah, you almost framed this poor woman. I miss bad. We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I'd finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but... I'm sorry, Mr. Thunder. I've caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us that the true culprit in the IS-7 incident was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final works of Samson's favorite artist. I couldn't allow them to just melt away, not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anyone near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to. I put them in the cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I had actually done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures?
So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures?
Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody. Never. And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body. And Samson was found guilty.
I mean, he was found guilty because the prosecutor was a sociopath. It's fine. Not really your fault. I mean, it's a little bit your fault. That was a crazy thing to fucking do.
After all he'd done for me, he was my family, the only family I've ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me. And after his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago, and when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check upon the sculptures, and that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired. I did what I did today, because it was the only way I could think to make things right.
It seems I've misunderstood her intentions. Everything she's done really has all been for Mr. Tangaroa's sake. I'm thinking this woman needs a life. It's something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas and not a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing? The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago. The killer. She was trying to prove that Mr. Tangaroa is innocent. Ms. Bound's ultimate goal must be... find the true killer. Could she have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit? I'm sorry for the uwu voice, I don't know why I keep doing it. Ms. Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tangaroa cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew that the body was hidden in the icework. Exactly, but Miss Bound ran the risk of that the killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst case scenario, they might have even been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting the vital evidence at risk? I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident.
No.
Overruled.
Enough, not another word.
Do you realize the implications of what you are saying, Mr. Edgeworth? I am. Are you prepared to stand by this accusation you are clearly about to make? I'm doing it for funsies, you crazy lady. Ms. Bound set a trap for Mr. Frostkiller, meaning that whoever found themselves caught in that trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. But I lack the evidence to support such an assertion. To accuse someone without any evidence is not to be done lightly, so... Should I really go ahead and make my accusation in the name Mr. Frostkiller nonetheless? Yeah, do it. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I must seize the moment. Carpe diem. Yes, Judge Gaviel, I am prepared to stand behind my accusation. I know exactly who is to blame for the IS-7 incident. Where is he? Oh, he's here. I was looking for his old portrait. Yep. Carmela Gusto. Mr. Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack, is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident. Gusty? Yep. Ms. Bound, as we have established, you knew that the opening of the gallery would lure in the real culprit. And you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. You dispute the facts thus far. You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth, just like your father. That sounds real dirty, Judy. Judy, no. And of course, you're absolutely right. Judy, he's taken. Then perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words. Of course, I have nothing to hide anymore. So I might as well tell you everything. Let's go. Judy, he's taken. He's in a situationship with Phoenix. As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frostkiller. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the Autumn Wing was the only thing that was unlocked. When opening time came, I went around to unlock the doors of the various rooms, and found that the Autumn Wing had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door. The thought, well, it frightened me. And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap. When I heard that Mr. Gusto was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left was for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan. Yeah, your relationship can legally vote. If I went to them now and said it had reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again. So I worked to set off a very public incident here in the gallery in front of as many witnesses as possible. Oh no, put your hat back on. I hate it. You sure did. I found it. This can't be easy for him. It'd be such a horrible fuck-up.
No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope one day you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it.
Well, I mean, you just attempted murder. You stole, a very dangerous chemical. And you, desecrated a body, so that's a lot of charges, Ms. Bound.
But please, if I may ask one thing of you, it's that you simply must clear Samson's name.
You just threw the body of your favorite artist in the fucking water. Please don't. Please. If I'm your favorite artist, please don't throw me in the water. I don't deserve that. The way the truth of these past 18 years had come to light was unexpected, to say the least. And yet, it had only set us down a path towards even more shocking end. To be continued.